There are indeed a lot of statistics that seem to showcase why zoos are overall a positive thing for the community, environment, and the youth overall. And there's a lot of statistics that back that up, such as that 40% of kids overall get a positive attitude and have a positive experience from these zoos. However, that argument fails to address the fact that these zoos cause immense physical and mental health and to them, such animals, and it does not justify keeping these animals in these captive environments. For instance, a study shows that 35 species of carnivores, including brown bears, cheetahs, lions, found in the zoo enclosures were too small, and that animals were not able to carry out their daily routines. So this led to problems such as pacing and a lot more infant deaths. For instance, polar bears had an infant mortality rate of 65% due to small enclosures. About 70% of adult male gorillas in North American zoos have heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in gorillas in captivity. But this condition seems almost completely absent in the wild, and other great apes have similar health problems in captivity as well. So captive elephants live about half as long as they do in the wild. 18.9 years versus 41.7 years for Asian elephants, and 16.9 years versus 35.8 years for African elephants. Out of 77 elephants in 13 zoos, 31 were overweight, and they spent 83% of their routine time indoors, which contributed to an early death. Now, animal behavioralists often see zoo animals suffering from problems not seen in the wild, such as clinical depression in clouded leopards, obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD found in brown bears, and anxiety in giraffes. Now, these animal experiences are often due to small enclosures, changes in diets and activities, and introduction to things not seen in the wild, such as medical exams and people with cameras. And zoos such as the Toledo Zoo even go as far as to prescribe human medicine for a quick fix to these animals, such as prescribing a gorilla with depression Prozac, and to ease new inhabitants, they had an agitated tiger given Valium, and anxious zebras and wildebeest given Haldol. Now, these do immense damage to psychological nerves and systems that cause depression and overall more anxiety in animals, for they are not meant to be treated with animals. So, a study of captive chimpanzees also found that abnormal behavior is an endemic in the population, and that includes that behaviors such as eating feces, twitching, rocking back and forth, plucking hair, pacing, vomiting, and self-mutilation, among others. As a result of these medications and oftentimes the mental health decrease as a result of these captive and changes in routines in the environments. Also, about 24% of captive okras have major to extreme tooth wear, and 60% had tooth fractures as a result of stress-induced teeth grinding. And as a result of the 2013 documentary Blackfish, it exposed the psychological damage by okras at SeaWorld, and which led to California actually outlawing captive okra breeding. Now, such legislation to be taking place must show that animal zoos such as SeaWorld or the San Diego Zoo or the Toledo Zoo, that any zoos total are not in fact fair, just, or humane to inhabit these animals. While it is true that they do in fact provide a home for endangered species, this home is not indeed a good one. A proper analogy would include putting, retired people in bad nursing homes, and this does not in fact rehabilitate them or give them a positive environment, but it puts them in toxicity, which indeed leads to a bigger mental health decrease. Now, for these reasons, I go against zoos, and there should be no reason as to why zoos should not be banned from the public due to the mental and physical damage experienced by these animals. Thank you.